Hello again. Once more, welcome back to Leopard Street, the cellar of procrastination. Not that title, really, I suppose. Anyway, right. Today, we've got a little bit further with what we're doing. I've got the board controller boards finished. We are going to have a little look at them just because I've got to load the software onto it before I can use it for anything. The goal of the day, or for this video, this is Sunday, it'll probably be Sunday and into Monday I'll be working on this, is get this board here. This is board K. I changed the lettering. Originally these were going to be the lowercase version of the thing below it, and in the end I just went round it, so I've got IJK. This is the corner board. This is where the turntable lives. There is a single point, which is just out of camera shot here. Not doing the turntable today. The job is get this board powered up. There's a few things I need to do first. One of which is I need to set up the board controller that's going to go in. But I also need to make the proper power feeds. So, let's have a little look at that. This is Leopard Street. So what I've got here is the wiring for board K. At the moment, it's these two temporary wires. Now, there is a panel under here. If I lower this just slightly, I have the electrical panel. Now, this, let me position this so you can see it a little bit better. It's not particularly easy. It's awkward to get to here with the angle we're at. Yeah. Actually, if I bring you around here, apologies for the flying camera. This might make life a little bit simpler. I go here and then we go down a bit further. Let's see what we're doing. Right. So yeah, here are the two temporary wires. I just use 1602. It's easier. What I need is a proper connector for this. So if I spin over here, it's going to be this side. Here there is the mid board. These screw marks, there's a beam behind here. It's just a length of timber that goes across. Strengthens it, gave me something to screw the panel to, which is quite nice. Now what I've got are these. This is a decent 8-way plug-in socket. In theory I only need a 6-way because it's going to take the two power lines for the DCC. DC ground, 12 volt, 5 volt logic, 5 volt power. I thought while I'm at it, I'm going to use an 8-way and have a couple of spare channels. What could possibly go wrong? And this has a panel mount clip to it. So this bit goes one way round or other into here, clips in, job done. So what I need to do is mount this somewhere, and I'm going to go with about here because it misses the mid beams on both boards. It's out of the way. There's nothing behind that, so I can do that quite nicely. That can get mounted in. I can power this up. Then when I come to do the upper board, I can just have basically wires that come along, pigtail drops down, plugs in. Done. So that's the first thing. Now to do that, I need to cut a slot. To do that, I need to mark out how big the slot has got to be. And then I need to unwrap a buzzy saw, which I have now got, but I have never used. So this could be interesting. I'm going to mark this out. I'm going to get the saw ready. I'm back in a sec. Right, now, this is going to be a little bit awkward and probably a little bit noisy. I've never used one of these things. So, yeah. I've got two blades that I'm going to have a go with. There is, assuming I can get them out, a little bit of plastic because they've got a bit of oil on them. There's one of those, over here, but see it a bit better, which I'm going to use for the horizontal cut. And then I have a smaller one, which I'm going to use for the vertical cut, because the vertical cut is about 12 mil. The horizontal one is 41 mil. And I'm going to cut both slightly under size and finish it with a file. Here is yon buzzy saw. Now, let's say I've never used one of these things. I'm told you can cut sideways with it, but I'm going to go this way. Like that, I believe. Well, that was fun, children. Yes, that was quite loud. But I've now got a hole that's not far off the size I want it. So next up is a file, just to smooth this off. Specifically smooth the edges off. Yeah, that's a useful little tool. I quite like that. I've seen a couple of channels using them. Ian over at Train of Thought uses it quite a bit. Loading Gauge Lucy, she's used one recently as well, which, yeah, it does the job. Now the question is, will that go in there? And it does. Now, whether I can then push the connector in from the back, I don't know. But there we go. So that's quite good, and I can put that in. I can give that 2 little screws which will hold it in place, and then hopefully that'll go in from the back quite nicely. So if we come over here, there we are. A socket, and like I say, the idea is that is going to come down, be that way around. It's going to fit into there. Wires will come out and come up here. If I can get ferrules on the wires, I will. If I can't, I won't. So what I'm now going to do, I'm going to do some wiring, which is not particularly exciting, so I'm going to do it off camera. Basically, I'm just going to run some cables from here, out the back, out through this hole, so I can fit them into the connector block, which I'm then going to have to fit in. It does actually come in from the back, so I'm going to have to run them out, cut them to length, drop them down here, fit them, then insert that. Back in a bit. Okay, here we are, short while later. Wires connected. New colour for me, yellow, which is now going to be the 5-volt power colour. 5-volt logic, 12-volt DC ground, and then the 2 wires. That goes into that hole like that, and then it's going to get a couple of little screws put into the side to hold it in place, hopefully. That one, and then this one here. That. Hadn't tried that, but glad they fit. Right. Then I've got the connector for the upper deck. Comes along here and just plugs in. So when I make the wires for up here, I need to know where. That's where they're going to go. I'm going to cut them overly long, and I'll trim them when it's in place. But then literally removing the board is going to be unplug that. There are some screws you can use to hold that in place firmly. Hopefully I don't need them. Also disconnected the temporary wires. Right, next step, clean this board off, remove it, get it fitted to the workbench. So I'll get that done, and I'll be back. Yeah, foot. Okay. About an hour and a half later, the board is now up here. A little bit of time clearing things off. Also, board controller now has the software for this board loaded onto it. We have a servo controller, which has had its various modifications done. I'll go over what the modifications are at some point. I've got a test board partially built. LED controller. Wasn't actually going to fit that originally. It occurred to me I'm putting a signal box on this side, so I do actually need it. And the little input-output board. Now, they're all going to need the wiring looms connecting for them. Yeah, which I haven't built yet, and effectively I can't build until the hardware is mounted to the board, because I don't know how long the wires need to be. So, let's have a look at the back of this and try and work out where on earth all this stuff is going to go. So here's the board. Obviously you can see the hole for the turntable. A bit of wire I'm standing on, and inevitably a box lid that's just fell over on my foot. As always seems to happen with these things. Anyway, this is what we had last time. We've got the DCC bus rails here. One thing I'm going to do before I forget, I have measured where that connector I built is. And it is there. Little mark, just so that I know that's where the cables are going to be. They're sort of going to hang down here. This side overlaps the other bit of the board, so the cables don't need to go through, they just need to hang down. So I need to fit something there. There's going to be a signal box roughly there, obviously on the other side of the board, not this side. So I don't want to mount too much here because I'm going to have to drill holes through that for lights. There's a bit of a gap there where something's going to go. The servo's over here. Along this bit here is where the tracks that go into the signal box, that's where their turntable is. Tracks go into signal boxes, we've got problems. Here are the two tracks that come into the station, and this bit down the bottom is going to be the goods yard. So I need to work out where on earth I'm going to put it all. Now, this board, ideally, it either needs to be somewhere like this, so this antenna has got good reception, or right down at the other end, so that it overhangs the other side of the board. I mean, there's enough. That's not going to bang on anything. There's plenty of space for it. It's just what I don't really want this to be is in smack in the middle somewhere where there's all the interference, and then that will hit trains if they go under it. So it needs to be somewhere there's no track under. And the logical place to put it is actually down here. So, see, everything's going to build up around where this thing sits. So if it sits down here, I'm going to have a power feed up here, and I'm probably going to put the power connector in first. Now, yes, the connector is an 8-way. I'm only going to put a 6-way terminal block in. The reason I'm only going to put a 6-way block in, and it's going to go there, is I only need 6 wires. I'm going to bring the DCC wires, are going to come straight to this. So what I'm going to do is find a few screws, and I'm going to fit this. Now, I'm using slightly shorter screws than I normally do, in the hope they don't fall through the board too much. So go about there, I think. So I can now bring into that the various wires. What I'm going to do first off is bring them out this side. Now, this isn't the same as my little power board that I normally have. This isn't a full-on distribution block. It probably should be. Refreshment there. Orange squash with orange and pineapple squash with a hint of lemon squash added, which is actually quite nice. Yeah, this is where the wires are going to come in. They may go off to other things. I mean, I've got more space down here if I need distribution stuff for it. So I might just angle you down a little. You can see the bottom part of the board. Now here, this is where the doubler plates went in. They're potentially actually quite useful because those are going to basically they thicken the board up so that I don't have to worry too much. So I'm going to put the board controller in. Now these have all been built, they've all been tested. So in theory it should work. The software that's loaded onto the thing it's pretty much default software. It's not that useful. But what it will do is connect to the Wi-Fi. Right, there we are. Just wanted to make sure the thing's connected. Because it'll connect to the Wi-Fi, what I can then do is update it remotely. So as long as I've got the base software on it, it basically means I don't have to take the ESP32 out to plug a USB lead in. So that goes on. Now if I need to plug a USB lead in, it's accessible. I put it at the end where I can get at it. Now the next thing is going to be the servo controller. Now that's obviously got to connect to the servo, which is going to be Naturally, the wires don't want to go the right way around, but never mind. It is going to go that way. Make sure that's on properly. It is. It's the right way around. So this needs to go somewhere where that cable can possibly be clipped down, or where it's not going to hang down too far. It's not that big a problem. This board is quite straightforward. There is one servo. When I come to do the board the camera is currently sitting on, there's a lot, so life's a bit more awkward. So I need to work out where this goes. Now this connector goes into here. So actually having it this side is quite useful. So I'm probably going to put it there. I might, however, just run that wire under those. Just helps keep it a bit tidier. I may put a clip in. So again, what I need to do is just start the screw through the little 3D printed mount. Of course means the screw needs to not immediately fall over, which is what it's just done. There we go. Work out where to put this. Could put it over here. If I put it over here, do another one first. The reason I'm doing another one first is the other one is this little beastie, which is the thing that's actually going to control those relays. And it might be worthwhile putting that in first. Again, just start the screw. This is going to go probably around here somewhere. There are two channels on this. One side will eventually have block detection, which is, I think, this side. This side will control the relays. So if I put this in here, roughly. Come on. There we are. It starts to bite in a little bit further. There we are. And another screw on that. As I said before, you don't need these little like 3D printed mounts for these things. I just find it makes life a lot easier. And these boards are just super glued to them. Obviously the strip board is screwed in place, but it works. So what I'm going to have to do, fit all these and make the looms. Right, now that's in, I can work out where I want to put this one. I am actually going to turn that screw through a little bit further. It might help. Because I want to work out where the block detection boards are going to go. They're probably going to go this side, down here somewhere. So yeah, they'll feed into that side instead, but I'm not that bothered. This can come up over here. And as long as this wire here doesn't hang down too far, it's not going to be a problem. I'm going to deal with that with a cable tie. In a moment, in fact, I don't need the cable tie up here now, so I can get rid of this. This at the top was obviously a temporary fitting to hold the temporary wires, so it's not needed anymore, so I'm going to get rid of it. Not because I'm particularly bothered about these things, I just want to get rid of it. Right, now I'm not going to work out where the lighting controller is going to go. Lighting could well be all over the place, so I'm not that fussed with where it sits. It connects to this bit here. I think what I'm going to do is put the lighting controller over this side. Just want to make sure, before I do that, yeah, I'm just making sure the connectors I'm going to be using will fit through those holes before I go mad and do this. So again, I'm just going to start the screws off over here, or we start one of them off over here. There we go. Now these boards can obviously be either way up. It really doesn't matter. I'm just doing them I'm doing them all the same way because I think it looks better. And if you're wondering why this mount is in grey and the others are in purple, I've had this one a while. This was done on the other printer in light grey PLA, whereas the rest are PET G done on the new printer. Yeah, so this is now editing me. I've sped this bit up because I managed to make it so half of it was off camera. This is basically just the beginning of the wiring. Here I'm putting in the power and the ground to the control board. And then we're going to cut away from this and I'm going to come back with all of the wiring done. And then we'll have a little look and we'll see how it goes. So catch you in a mo. Okay, back. About 5 hours later, if you can believe it. Anyway, now have the leads here, which are going to go to the plug. They're not terminated at the other end yet, but that's fine. Just drag some of those. I'm actually going to put another... Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to stick another tie wrap in here, because what I don't want, if I can find the little bag of screws, here we are. What I don't want is these wires dangling down too far, because fixing it means I've got to take the board off again. So I'm just going to stick another one of these in here. Yeah, it's not a massive job to do it. Put it there. These are shorter screws, so these don't come through on the other side. Anyway, so most of this time has been spent cutting and crimping wires. Lots of time spent cutting and crimping wires. Yeah. As a result of which is I've not hooked up the lighting controller. Largely because I'm not going to connect any lights to it at the moment. There you go. Stop them dropping down. And if I'm not connecting any lights to it, what are the cutters? I've left them on my desk. We've got another pair around. Something else within arm's reach. I just always right, scissors. I'll use scissors. I have scissors to hand. Yeah. So yeah, the thing's going to have to come off anyway to put the lights in. So I'll wire this board in at the time. What we've got, relays. They connect via the little PCF 8575, which is connected to the controller and has power. The yellow wires being 5-volt power. So that goes there. Both relay channels are connected, even though I'm only using one of them. I can always use the other one for something else. One of the things I was actually pondering is some underboard lighting, switching it with that. Servo controller is connected. The servo is plugged in. It has got its power. Everything else is in place. So what I'm now going to do is tidy up a bit of mess that... Hello. Yeah, I'm going to tidy all that up. I'm going to give that track a clean because, frankly, while I've got the lid off, I might as well. I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to see if it works. See you in a mo. Okay. Mixed results, shall we say. The board is in. It powers up. There are no short circuits, which is nice. Track polarity is correct. I thought it would be, but I've checked it. The point servo moves. So if I just angle you down to look at the point, here we are. You can see it's the joke. What's the point in all this? Anyway, right, this is point K1. So it's not in JMRI yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here. See, this is where I sit when I'm driving the thing, and I can just about see the track. The stool collapsed. Anyway, right. So that point is thrown. What I'm going to do is tell it close. There we go. And it moves. So that goes that way, and I can turn it back. And that is exactly what I want that to do. That is moving. It is moving at a nice, sensible, slow speed. And I've spent a few minutes updating the settings it needs to be. So it's over, but it's not straining the servo over. So this is good. The virtual sensors from this point are feeding back to MQTT. which is also good, because that means at some point I can start sticking this into JMRI. However, there's a but. You knew there was a but coming. Let me come down under here. You can sort of see bits of it. There's some red LEDs glowing. The one in the distance, that up there, is the control board. There's also a blue flashing LED. You might be able to see the glow on that. The nearer one is the servo control board. Yeah, however, here there's a relay board. The relay board is not powering. Don't know why. So I'm going to have to take it apart again and do a little bit of diagnostic work. It's slightly annoying. The other boards are actually quite easy to work on because I can just drop the panel down and get my meter on them and all that while it's live. This one, can't really get out when it's in position. However, it's not going to be hard to unplug it. Oh look, done. That's that. This board's now powered down. So I'm going to go put this back on the bench. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to see what I think is up with this. I'm going to make some test leads. I'm going to try and power it up while it's over there. So we shall see. Okay, here we are. Back on the workbench, up close. Now, I thought, I've pulled that off intentionally, by the way. I thought I had a pretty good idea what the problem was going to be. It was going to be these red and black wires here not feeding power into this section. They are feeding power into that section. There is continuity between this 3.3 volt line and this one, and this bit works. Ground continuity, that bit works. Okay. So that's all connected. That's connected. Need to have a little think about this. Plug that back in there. What I'm going to try and do is power up down here. I'm wondering whether it's a software problem. So I'm going to try that as well to see whether or not, if I can get the other relay to trigger, it may just be I'm talking to the wrong bit, so to speak, down here, and it's controlling a wire up here instead of the one down there. So I'm going to modify the code slightly to check that. Back in a mo. This is board G. This is one of the boards that works fine. And this is the same module. The only difference here is I'm not using the power and ground lines, which are these two pins at the bottom. I know that works, so I'm not too concerned about that. Here I just wired the relays logic board directly to the 5 volt supply. The way it works, it's fine with that. What I'm wanting to use is the 3.3, which I know will drive the logic. I've then got separate power for the coils on that, so that's fine. So what we've got is this bottom pink wire here, in fact, actually the bottom two. And they come out and they go, hang on, these are the brown wires. Yeah, what I've done is I've got this side is input, this side is output in terms of the software. And what I've done is wired it up backwards. So I'm going to change the hardware to match. What I don't want is this board is wired differently, so its software is slightly different. I'm going to correct that. So all I need to do actually is just take the lead off the other board and do a bit of work. Yeah, I'm going to try that, and I shall try again. Now, this bit was recorded on the day. The sound didn't record for some reason. This is now the correct orientation for this. Ignore the numbers there. It's actually 0 to 7 and then 8 to 15. I had, where I'm pointing now, I had it in the bottom end of that, which was the sensors. I then corrected it and I put the wires in so that they were all, so I had black, red, green and yellow. That also didn't work because that is the wrong channels. That is channels 15 and 14. So what they needed to be is where they are shown there, which is actually the yellow wire is on pin 8 and the green wire is on pin 9. And that is what the software is expecting to see. This is the little test board. I'm going to go through this in another video. This sort of shows what we've got. This got connected up to the relays. It got powered on, and lo and behold, it worked. So it's like, yaha. So yeah, that was the fault. It was a complete operator error, wires to the wrong place. Okay, so here we are, powered up. Bucky is on testing duty. Not sure what Bucky thinks of that. Over here, the boards are not connected. I can't run onto this bit of track yet because the polarity of that bit is controlled by this board, which hasn't been done yet. So anyway, and by the amount of time that just took, may well be a several evenings job to do it. Not least because I've got I think I need to order another servo controller. So we're going to try and run her over this just as far basically as the end of the frog. Back, change the point, over there, back. That's the goal. Let's see how well this works. So Bucky, what do you think? Okay. Here we go. Now this direction is obviously where we've gone before. The difference is now the relays are powered up. So we should be all right. Well, that worked. And I've not quite hooked all this up yet, so closed. There our point moves nice and slowly. Yeah. Bucky's having lunch, but there we go. So we're on over here, and again over the frog bit where the polarity is fine. Now, obviously, I checked that with a multimeter before I put a quite expensive locomotive on there, but this is basically how you prove it when it works. So there we go. She's happy with that, which is good. So this weekend, which has taken slightly longer than I had hoped, but it's something I've been putting off for a while. There we go. I'm liking my little friend here. This point is now fully operational. I've got the calibration for the directioning sorted. The polarity for the relay is sorted. The relays are now working. The board control is in. I don't have lighting control yet. I don't have block detection yet. But that's all right because I don't have block detection on that bit yet either. Scotsman is where it sort of comes around to that join and then it stops. So I need to put a controller over there as well. However, the plan, such as it is, such as the way of plans at Leopard Street, is to get the station throat over there set up. Now, as you can see, the board has gained quite a bit of clutter, so I need to deal with that. This has been Sunday. This is all I'm going to be doing today. I'm not doing anything else because, like I say, I've been down here probably about 6 hours now. Yeah, all told. Most of it wiring and crimping, which is rather dull, but it's one of those things that needs doing. Before we go, I'm just going to have a very quick discussion on blocks, because this has sort of come apart. Ian over at Trainers Thought has been working on this. So I've got a lot of blocks on this layout. A lot of it is artificial because the layout comes into pieces. It's like this back section along here is 3 boards. So with the best will in the world, that was always going to be 3 blocks. Or a lot of wiring going between the blocks so I could have them all connected. What I've chosen to do is do it as virtual blocks. So, I mean, the board coming up the middle, for example, has, I believe, 3 blocks in it, in a 4-foot stretch. There's a bit where the B12 is, it comes up. There's supposed to be a signal in the middle. So it comes in. There's then another block, only about a foot long. That's a stop block. That tells me train has entered that area. It needs to stop. Potentially, it might not. It could keep going. And then after that, there is another block, which is just the track beyond the signal. So yeah, that's 3. Where those coaches are is 1. Comes onto board C in the corner. Going this way, it's a single block. Going that way, it's 2 because there's a stop block for a signal. Board A, where the Scotsman is 2 blocks, 1 for each track. Forget the low level. Board J here is 2 blocks going in each direction. Again, there's going to be signals, so going on the departure block, you can see where the little yellow dots are if I angle you up a bit. And where the red dots are is where the insulating rail joiners are. So where the Scotsman comes around, the first bit, basically this section, it's a 3-foot section, is split into 2 blocks. There's the stop block for the signal, and then there's the rest of it. This one, there's the normal track, then there's the stop block for the signal. Now, the stop block there is quite a bit longer than it would normally be. I didn't see the point in having a 3-inch block on the other side of the signal, so there isn't one. It just carries on. Now, up here, the station approach, this is the input track, so this is 1 block. It gets to here, where there's an insulating join, and then this here is a block. This tiny little bit is a block. It's used in conjunction with this block here, which goes up to the double slip. In theory, I should probably have put an insulating join here and made this a little stub section, which I could have been part of the slip. I've not. This bit here is a block. Signal, again, trains come in. There you go. On the output side, this is perhaps it gets slightly more interesting. This output road here is 1 block. This point is part of that block. So when I get the interlocking sorted, if there is a train even down here, this point will be locked. The exception is shunting. So if I'm working manually, I can control that, because I'm going to want to bring a train back here. It'll be sat here, so I mean, it may be finishing about here, and I might want to push it that way. Or a light loco will come back here and will want to go off this way so it can come back into the TMD area. So yeah, there's a little bit on blocks. This bit here, we'll have a look at in a little bit more depth when I do wire all this up. But basically, the diamond is its own block. It could be part of a route going that way, or a route going that way, or that way, or that way. It's just easier to make diamonds. And diamond crossings, single slips, double slips, make them their own block. I mean, here, it starts there, runs all the way to the end of the board. Obviously, it stops there because there's a point. And the bit that will come off here will also be part of that double slip block, because it doesn't need anything else. Yeah. Anyway, so that is that. That has been Leopard Street at the weekend with what I have been doing. I'm slowly starting to bring the track I laid in January and December into commission. This bit's done. This board's next, which has got 6 servos. To be honest, it's not much more work than I've just done here. Because I'm not putting the block gear in, it's literally going to be plugging 6 servos in instead of plugging 1 in, and connecting 6 relays instead of connecting 1 relay. Hopefully the right way round. At which point I will be able to bring a train in. Little Bucky here will be able to come out of the stub siding, grab the coaches, shove them in the other track, go back in there, and away we go. Still can't turn trains round. Limits a little bit what locos I can do stuff with, but small steps. Anyway, that's been Leopard Street. I'll catch you again later in the week. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Hope you had a good weekend. And yeah, that's that. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. My little friend here. My lovely little friend here. Got to stop doing that. Gazram.